words about one of your defendants, GMAC and Ezra Merkin. Merkin bought a bank in Israel, Bank Leumi. Do you believe that he and his Israeli bank own some of the American home mortgages that GMAC originated and serviced?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you that, again, if we follow from what I had just told you about the creation of MERS, MERS fired up and got started in about 1999 to 2000. So when we're talking about credit default swaps, what we're talking about in the context of mortgages is bets that loans would go bad. All these loans were securitized. All these MERS loans were securitized. But they promised those investors that their money was going to be used by placing those funds in prime loans at, for example, 5%, say, to a qualified investor with a 20% down payment so that it was a good loan and it would look to investors around the world like it was better than treasuries. The first thing the banks did was they stole half that money off the top and sent it offshore to accounts outside the United States. And then they placed the money in a fashion in loans that would show that it was going to pay 10% to borrowers who could never pay 10% on that money. But as far as the investors, it would show the same return on their investment. So I'll give you an example. An investor puts up $1 million. He expects to get 5% return on that. That's $50,000 a year. Half that money is stolen right off the bat. And instead it's placed at 10%, so the investor believes now that he's still getting his $50,000 investment, but it's now off the $500,000 that has actually been loaned. So when we talk about loan modifications and the problems that people have in terms of getting loan modifications, there's no incentive whatsoever to modify a loan, because if you modify a loan and keep the homeowner in the home, you don't get to collect the credit default swaps, which are worth, on average, 20 times the face value of the loan. The long-term effect, if you step back and look at what's happened, has been the redistribution of $13 trillion of wealth away from the American middle class to other people. And the sickest thing about it is that this wasn't done for trillions of dollars. This was done for guys around a table who wanted to have a bigger house in the Hamptons and a nicer private jet. So it was done for the bonuses that we hear about all the time, that people are justifiably incensed about, because it was the bonuses and the stock prices going up that fueled those bonuses that caused those people to engage in this behavior that has just devastated the middle class and now brought the world economy to its knees.
I talked to Bernie.
Everybody wanted more money.
More? Okay.
Yes. How about in Cairo? What happened to...
The Bankster girls used legitimate translation companies